And it's because they were missing this critical piece of nurturing that has to happen. They were basically teaching you transactional marketing, which
Mhm.
doesn't work well anymore today. People don't want transactional marketing. People want relationships. People want to feel seen and heard and valued.
Are you a female wellness coach? You're looking to grow your business, to expand your business. Perhaps you're feeling stuck, or you don't want to work a ton of hours to grow your coaching program. You need to meet my friend, Chris Williams. She is the CEO and founder of Shine Abundance Now, a business and leadership coaching program. She takes a holistic and heart centered approach to help you be successful in your business without trading your well being. Check out the link for her free checklist. It is the Business Basics Checklist so that you can create 10,000 plus income in your business to be a six-figure business without trading so much time and living the life you love. Check out Shine Abundance now or the link below for your free checklist. Grow your business and let Chris Williams be your coach and mentor. Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. I'm your host, Angela Duncan, and we talk all things money and business. Today's episode is sponsored by Shine Abundance Now, which is an incredible business and leadership coaching program. Head over to shineabundancenow.com, check out their program, join their Facebook group, and see the incredible things that they are doing with their clients. On today's episode, I get to interview Chris Williams, who is the founder and CEO of Shine Abundance Now. We're going to talk about heart centered business. She has a freebie to give away to you today, and she's going to talk about the Activate Abundance Academy. Check out the episode. Hi, Chris. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast.
Hi, Angela. Thanks for having me. Super, super excited to be here with you.
Awesome. So, I would love for you to start off and share a little bit about your story and your journey and how you got to the business that you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to share this. So really, I made a drastic change after I had been married for 17 years, was a stay-at-home mom, homeschooled my kids, grew a community garden, did all the yummy, crunchy granola mama stuff with my kids. It was really, really fun. And then went through a divorce and had to figure out, all right, now what? Now what do I want to do? And I knew that I didn't want to go back into corporate world pre-marriage mode, right? So I was really thinking, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that really lights me up? Not just how do I, take care of myself and my boys, but what do I really want to do? And so I decided to go back into massage therapy or go into massage therapy. And so I got a certification as a massage therapist and knew that I wanted to make my own time. So one of the reasons why that I chose massage therapy, one is because I loved massage therapy. I loved the way that it felt when I was getting one. I loved the environment. I loved that it was a way to help people relieve pain and to reduce stress. And I knew that I could open my own business that way without a lot of overhead and without having to go work for somebody else. And that was important to me because I had three little ones. Well, I mean, my youngest was in first grade. He was going into second grade, and my oldest was then going into high school, since we weren't going to be homeschooling anymore. And so I wanted to be available for soccer games and football games and after school. So really, I started there just asking questions. And I'm like, okay, first step, certification. Next step, now what do I do? How do I actually set this up? So, I talked with other people that were in the industry and began, just rented a room in a wellness center. And I'm like, okay, I can start here and start, bringing in my own clients. And what I noticed as I was doing massage therapy is I had a lot of people that were asking me about health related questions, obviously, right? They were in pain in their bodies. They were asking me nutrition questions and lifestyle questions. And I was giving them advice, but I thought, you know what? Even though I've lived this for many, many years and raised my kids, and, they learned how to make their letters and numbers out of sourdough bread dough. So I certainly had the practical experience. I went back to school to get my certification as a functional nutritional therapist. And then again, as a health and life coach, because I wanted to learn more of the transformational coaching pieces so that people could actually implement habit change and lifestyle change, not just have it be me telling them what to do. So I began to build and grow my business that way, incorporating those pieces into my business, and slowly and not intentionally at all began to morph into teaching other women how to actually build and grow their own wellness businesses. So as I began to thrive, and I began to, absolutely kind of tap out. I remember it was 2019 and I had sold out all of my one-on-one spots for 2020. I had literally, this was November 2019. I had no more room on my calendar to work one-on-one with clients anymore. And so people began asking me what I was doing. And so I just began sharing and I began teaching, and organically morphed into helping other holistic practitioners and wellness coaches create their business from a really heart-centered and aligned place.
Mm.
Because what I found was that even though I had really great skills and I had really great craft behind me from the trainings that I went through, they really didn't teach me how to build a business. I had to kind of figure that out as I went. And so it was really important to me that as I began to, talk with women, that I began to create my own process, kind of reverse engineering the process of
Mhm.
what was I actually doing on repeat that would translate into helping more women do the same, create businesses that they loved and that were in alignment with their own wellness and their own values and their own time that they wanted to spend with their family too.
Yeah, I love that, and I think a lot of people can relate to that story. I've been through divorce too, and you kinda have to reinvent yourself and wonder what's next. So entrepreneurship, very common, but also extremely difficult. So I love that you just dove right in, you learned what you needed to do, and now you can teach other people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny because when I look back, I'm like, thank God, honestly, I didn't have A to Z all out. Like, it was actually a benefit not to know from A to Z exactly how everything needed to happen. Because when you have that idea that it has to follow a certain thing, you become disappointed, you become disillusioned. And really, I just took the natural next step and I talked to people and I asked questions and I implemented. And then I did another thing and I talked to people and I asked questions and I implemented until, I actually, amazing. I have an amazing business. I have a seven-figure business now, put both of my oldest kids through college, take my family on vacations. It's just, it's a dream.
Yeah. And so now you kind of have some unique ways in which you help clients. Let's dive into maybe some details that we can give the audience and some tips
Yeah.
for them. So, why don't we start out with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I noticed in my own training was, again, while they give you the amazing craft and modality, they didn't teach you how to monetize the modality. So really what they were teaching was a very outdated method of, well, just go book all of these calls and then sell your program, which is really trying to take a stranger into a buyer. And that doesn't work well. And so what you end up seeing and what I saw and what, many of my colleagues experienced was a lot of no's, a lot of I don't know, a lot of I can't afford it, a lot of let me ask my husband or partner or spouse or whatever. And it's because they were missing this critical piece of nurturing that has to happen. They were basically teaching you transactional marketing, which
Mhm.
doesn't work well anymore today. People don't want transactional marketing. People want relationships. People want to feel seen and heard and valued. And so, what I began to do was to implement this nurture component of it that wasn't being taught, but I knew that it was actually fun for me to do this piece. And it actually translated into like my business 10x when I began to let go of trying to book all of these 1 hour discovery sessions with strangers and try to sell them into my thing, and instead implement relational marketing. And that looks like, three major steps. And that is, how are you attracting your what I call heart yes client? Your heart yes client is somebody who is actually looking for a solution to their problem. And there's a difference, right? We actually have three different types of people in our ecosystem right now. One are what I like to call sidewalkers. They might be in your world, but they don't believe that they have a problem that they want to fix. They
Mhm.
still might respond and be like, "Oh, I love your stuff," but honestly, they're never going to say yes to work with you because they don't think they have a problem. right?
Mhm.
So, and yet so many people and coaches and holistic practitioners are marketing to those people, trying to convince them or persuade them that they need a problem that needs solving. And
Mm.
so that's the first thing that I notice. I'm like, yeah, we don't want to do that anymore. Then we've got people that are in what I like to call the slow lane, and they are 67%. They make up 67% of the people that are in our ecosystem. They're actively looking for a solution. They're
Mm.
tired of struggling in some way, shape, or form, and they're looking for somebody to help them solve that problem. And then there's really only about 3% in our ecosystem right now that are ready to buy right now. But they've
Mm.
already kind of come into your ecosystem. They've been nurtured. They have an experience of you. There's no like trust already. And now they're ready to actually say yes to working with you. So the nurturing piece happens with how do you bring more people into your ecosystem that are in the slow lane, that are looking for the problem or the solution that you are actually solving. So that's step one. That's attracting people into your ecosystem. How are you doing that? By the way, I give all of the different steps that fall into this in the freebie, which is business basics for 10K months that I know Angela will share somewhere here. Uh,
Yes.
but as I take you through this and you're like, yeah, but what actually falls into that? I've got you. We've
Good,
got you
good,
covered.
good. Yep. We'll touch on that in a little bit too.
Yeah, yeah. Step two is once they're in your ecosystem, what are you doing to nurture them and actually create relationships? Because remember, this is relational, not transactional. So we're not just trying to drag them, across the finish line. We're really trying to connect with them. And one of my favorite ways to do that is actually bring them into an online community, bring them into a community where actually they get to see me, hear me, take away value so that I can help them to create some epiphanies and some quick wins so they
Mhm.
actually get to have that experience. And I can actually reach out and say, hey, how are you? And they can actually see me and I can see them, whether I'm doing a workshop or a masterclass or something. But it is that nurture component that is just so, so critical. And then the last step is actually invite. So first step is attract, second step is nurture, last step is invite. You have to actually invite people to take the next step. People want to be invited to the party, right?
Mhm.
We don't throw a party and then wonder why nobody shows up if we don't ever invite people to the party, right? So that comes with going back to the people and saying, hey, I see you, I hear you. Would you like to explore having support around this problem? Would you like to explore having support implementing some of the training or some of the pieces so that you can have this result back here on the other side? And so those three things really I look like as three legs of a stool, and they all have to be present.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love that you talked about the heart centered because I talk a lot about that when I'm teaching about
Yes.
money for especially for women. Do you find it that more women are more heart centered or that they kind of relate to that more than maybe our male counterparts?
I think so, just because women are not in, this could be stereotypical. So, if you're a man and you're listening and you're like, I don't agree, like
It's
totally.
okay.
There's many men that are heart centered. My husband is too. But typically, women are in the wellness industry. And again, I work specifically with holistic coaches and holistic practitioners, and we're natural nurturers, right? We're natural givers. We're natural, so it has to, our marketing and sales process has to be heart centered. Otherwise, we won't do it. Because if
Mhm.
it's not heart centered, it feels out of alignment with who we are at our core, with our
Mhm.
own values.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, and I talk a lot about that. I think that women are heart-centered, and we talk about goal planning and with money,
Yeah.
envisioning what that looks like. What does it feel like? Put yourself into that position of where you want to be, and
Yeah.
then connecting that with the steps and the logic behind it too.
Absolutely. I really find it gets to be both, right? There's so much noise out there in the online world. And, I'm so glad that it's changing and that we have more women speaking about this heart centered experience that is based on relationships versus transactional, right? But we still need structure, right? So for me, structure is the masculine. I think of it like a riverbank. It's the riverbank that actually holds the water, right? Without the riverbank, the river can't flow. It just kind of
Mm.
seeps into the ground without some structure. Whereas, our nurturing and our intuition is the river, but it still needs to be held by structure. So we really need both the feminine intuition and nurturing and connection and the more masculine structure, systems, and a container of support.
Yeah, so you mentioned the freebie. Let's go ahead and drop that now, and we'll make
Yeah.
sure I mention it again at the end of the show. So what is the
Sure.
freebie that you have for
Yeah.
the audience?
Yeah, so it's called Business Basics Checklist for 10K months. And it really does go through, the attract, nurture, and the invite that I just talked about. And what are the actions that are revenue generators that you take that fall underneath attract, nurture, invite? Because there's so many, especially new entrepreneurs, that don't know what to do. Like, what
Mhm.
are the practical actions that I need to take in order to attract people into my ecosystem, nurture them, and then invite them to work with me? And so the checklist is broken down by each step. So all you have to do is pick one thing from attract, one thing from nurture, one thing from invite, and there you go. You have your action plan for the day.
Yeah, and I love checklists. I think,
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where I like to mark things done, and so when it's given to you in a very easy format, it's like, "Okay, I can implement this." So, thank you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I highly recommend print it out, keep it on your desk, tape it up somewhere, because truly, I even come back to this checklist. If I'm waking up and I'm like, what do I do today? I go to my checklist. When my clients feel overwhelmed or if they're like, I don't know what to do today, go to your checklist. Go to your checklist, pick one thing from attract, one thing from nurture, one thing from invite, do that consistently, and you will have paying clients coming into your business in a way that feels good to you.
Right, that aligns with you too, and I'm sure the checklist can be used outside of the wellness industry as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what
Mhm.
other exciting programs are you working on?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, we've got, my flagship program that I absolutely love to teach is called Activate Abundance Academy. And that is my 12-month program that actually teaches holistic practitioners, coaches. So again, you could be a health coach, life coach, spiritual coach. It doesn't have to just be in the wellness industry. We have financial coaches, but typically you're a service-based entrepreneur. And I really put everything in there to teach you how to actually create a six-figure business because I didn't know how. And so I pieced things together. And so I decided that if I was going to create a program to help others, that I was actually going to put everything together. So we have amazing support. It's a combination of not just group support, but actually one-on-one support. We've got copy and marketing in there with my expert marketer and copywriter so that we can create messaging that actually speaks to your ideal client. We actually have how do you, build out your six-figure profit plan? How do you actually create a business model so that you're focusing on two main offers to bring in, your six-figure success for the year? So we really structure it in a way that is giving you absolutely everything that you need. And it teaches you not just your foundations like pricing and programs and how to have a high converting freebie, how to start a community, but also the attract, nurture, invite component, which is just so, so important so that you can get your own marketing system and sales system up and working like a well-oiled machine and on repeat so that you know what to do on a daily, weekly, monthly time period.
Yeah, and I do find that when you have, mentoring and group and coaching, both
Yeah.
one-on-one and with other people, it's so incredible because you get that one-on-one help that's very personalized for your business, but then there's other people in that same boat looking to do things and to be able to learn from them as well. So I love that about your program.
Yeah, thank you. It's so much fun. It's interesting because many times I think, whenever you're scaling your business, people say, oh, you have to start coming out of your business. And I was determined to stay actually in my business in some way. Like, I really love the one on one connections that I get to have with my clients. And so I made it, I created it the way that I wanted to create it so that I could be there and be supportive and also bring in these great experts to support them and make sure that they've got community, make sure that they've got support, make sure that they've got access. So it's not just this downloadable course where you are totally on your own and nobody's there to answer your questions and you're sitting there never finishing the course because you get stuck someplace. So it was really important that I got to do this in a way that lit me up.
Yeah, and sometimes we design programs meant for us maybe 5, 10 years ago, what we
Yeah.
would want in the program too. And
Yes,
and
totally.
that's where I feel like you get, you find the most success is because there's other people in the same position that you were
Yeah.
and creating it for yourself and that type of client, is a lot of fun for you to work with too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what's next for you? What do you envision in your company going forward?
Oh gosh. So we've got a lot of really fun retreats coming up. We've got a retreat coming up this month. I really love the in-person retreats. We try to do one in the spring and we try to do one in the fall. And our retreats are really designed around, I call it nurture the leader retreats because it's not just sitting in a, hotel room for 3 hours, 10 hours a day. It's we go to retreat centers where you are actually nurturing you as the leader. So there's plenty of time to unplug, to get those divine downloads, but also to really connect in real time with me. We get to spend lunch and dinner and breakfast, and there's time to, spend time in nature. There's time to learn strategy, but it's really a combination of both. And that really is just so exciting for the women that get to go through it because we are holistic people, right? The way that we're showing up in our life actually is going to translate to the way that we show up in our business and vice versa. And so when we're taking good care of ourselves and we have both the support of renewing and reviving and connection and community and also good, sound, practical business strategy, it just creates a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Take care of yourself first, be the best version of yourself so that
Yeah.
you really can impact your company and your clients. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're going to have that disconnect.
Absolutely. Well, it's not sustainable, right? So, just like you, I am all about not only do we want to create profit, but it has to be sustainable, right?
Mhm.
In order for us to have a real business, we need to have profitability and sustainability. And it's not going to be sustainable if we're burning ourselves out or if we're not enjoying it or it's not fun or we don't ever have time off. So, teaching women how they can actually have both is really, really an important component of my program. I take the last week off every single month to put my visionary cap on, to dream, to go away and retreat myself, to write, to create, to be in that space where it feels free and it feels spacious to me. And if I didn't have that and I was just working every single day, week
Mhm.
after week, after a while it gets to be a lot. So we have to have those periods of time in there where we can be the visionary and allow ourselves to have that break.
Yeah, give yourself some grace to have time off too.
Absolutely. Heck yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So,
Mhm.
Krista, I have a fun question for you.
Mhm.
If you could have a superpower, what
Mhm.
would it be and why?
Ooh, this is such a good question. If I could have a superpower, what would it be and why? I think that if I could have a superpower, what I would like to share would be a superpower with other women to be naturally give them this feeling of relaxed confidence.
Hmm.
That's what I would like my superpower to be, because that is something that when we're feeling a sense of confidence and we're not in hustle mode and we're relaxed, that energy comes through in everything that we do. That's the energy that actually invites people to work with us. That's the energy that people want more of. So I would say that would be the superpower that I would choose, sharing a sense of peace and relaxed confidence.
Ah, that's awesome. I love that. All right, Chris. So remind us of the freebie. And if our audience wants to get in touch with you for the freebie, how do they reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to, you can meet me on Facebook. So Christine Williams, please come say hello. I promise it's me in the DMs and not a team member. I will absolutely respond. You can also email me at info@shineabundancenow.com, or you can go to the website, shineabundancenow.com. The freebie is Business Basics Checklist for 10K months, and I'm sure we'll share a link there for you. And then we also have a fun training coming up at the end of March. So definitely come join me for oh my gosh, I totally forgot the name of it. Six Figure Secret Simplified. So, so that is a really fun masterclass that's designed to create epiphanies, aha moments for you, and practical steps so that you can really take these principles that you're learning inside of the checklist and start implementing them quickly in your business. So Six Figure Secret Simplified is my masterclass that I absolutely love teaching.
Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Angela. It was so great to be here with you.
Thank you so much for tuning into Empower Her Money podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast, and leave a review wherever you are tuning in.